and get dropped right out of the sky. So nobody really has that tower built in the sky just yet.
And it's a free-for-all now. Who's going to scramble up for the high positions here? Cold and Acorn can be one of the few to take a stab at it. Quante and Peterbot eyeing up the teams right now who have decided to go for it. A little too soon, a little too late, as they don't have quite the material count to make the big fight. Duke and Edgy are just fighting their way through, but again, Edgy's down now. This is trouble in paradise here. Top 10 looming in the distance there. It's a long stretch though. In these end games. 60 seconds feels like forever, but you have to stay alive.
He made a mistake. He dropped the splashes. He did want that legendary Havoc, but he dropped the splashes, which he was trying to keep, and instead he kept the med miss. But at least it's something to kind of stagger himself in and out of the zone. But from our last game, Victor Rouse, Bigger, and Threat, they're in a great position, but Cold is not. He has to do it by himself as a solo. But I will say, if anybody is capable of a massive feat like this, it is going to be someone like Cold.
We've seen the big plays from him before as well, and he has an additional win condition in his hands. But oh no, you don't want to fall now. Another team literally comes in at the opportune time, almost saves him. He opens up, takes the win, Elam for himself. That's a knock there, and now he has to slide on out. There it is, sliding his way to the low ground. A little delay to go ahead and put his builds down, but he's fully situated now and back in the running on high ground. Peterbot, Quanti end up turning things around, so keep an eye out on them. They could be setting themselves up for the win, but everyone else now has to keep fighting their way through.
Yeah, this is what we like to see as well. Duke staying ahead of it. All the madness on the low ground. You can see the edit towards the back side of the zone to give himself a little bit more safety as the kinetic blades track towards the front side. I talked about the med miss and the splashes that he has. He hasn't had to use much to this point, but the pulse rifle was breathing through the builds, taking some damage. He's forced to try to get anything that he can. Pars breaks through. Trashy goes down. I think they're in the great position to try to take it with 8 eliminations so far.
This is crazy. Pars and Baka are dragging everyone out to the deep waters and forcing them down to hold their breath. 8 Elans and counting right now as we're inside the near top 10. And finally, there it is. He does end up losing Baka. Okay, someone had a life vest. They're fighting back. Pars swings around the side. Kinetic blades on up, and he's out of material. It's all or nothing now.
At least he has the men miss. It's not going to get him to full HP, but it's something to work with as he finally gets taken out and tagged up. That's Muzz. He won game number 1. 7 eliminations for the team so far as Peterbot trying to hold on to the high ground, but Quanti gets lost. Clarity doing what he can. He's able to get the elimination. The Siphon's going to get cleaned up. Into the top 2 we go, and Peterbot is by himself in a 1v2 situation, getting forced out of zone. That's Nounsy and ZZ trying to take it all and pressure him. But do they have the heals or the momentum on the side? It looks like ZZ's going deep into the zone to try to fight him. You hear the men miss going off. Does he have enough as Peterbot finally runs out? Now it's his turn to get onto the hut. The Siphon is going to get picked up. That was huge. That Siphon was big. That could be it. The difference for Peterbot, but only 2 ticks left in the zone. His luck is finally runs out as Nounsy and ZZ take the game.
That's actually crazy. In an unseen turn of events, ZZ found a med miss when he ran back into the storm. But more importantly, Peterbot must have thought he won that when he caught the Siphon.
Yeah, that was huge find because he didn't even necessarily get the knock onto that player, but he definitely got the cleanup. And I was wondering almost all day long with how well Peterbot and Quanti are performing. When are they going to show up? And they showed up big in this last game, just not big enough.
And Nounsy literally was the deep shark in the sea there, takes down Baka, and then turns it around. And he was just cleaning up house on the low ground, finds Clarity G as well. And just credits to them for trying to, make the Mega Brain play. Nounsy hides his body, not well enough as he was discovered by Peterbot, but what a way for them to go ahead, play big, play smart, and win game 5.
Yeah, you talked about the men miss, that elimination as well. Peterbot, man, you got to watch out, but congratulations yet again. Another team entering the fray and taking a VR.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and do the math. We got to get caught up.
Thank you so much, Jacob PR, Monster D-Face. 1 game is left to go, but here in game number 5, fellow Z's, ZZ, and Nounsy. Get it? Because I'm a Z. Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
I just want to make sure.
You're so funny.
They get themselves a victory royale, and I have to give, as they give credit to Peterbot, knowing, like, in those moments when someone goes down, it's hard to find them. But Peterbot knew exactly where they were. And I really in my heart of hearts believe, no way Peterbot just clutched it, but apparently not quite.
I think a lot of people feel the same way. We all thought that Peterbot had that right there. And I love that you bring up, being aware of where other people are. And I think what ZZ did really well there is being aware of where the heals are going to be. Once you do get down to the final 5 teams, you'll actually see a lot of players kind of paying attention to what is on the ground around them, because they know that eventually it might be going down to a heal off, as we've seen time and time again. So being aware of what's going on around you, not just of where the players are, but also where the loot is a pivotal part of success.
The timing when it comes to heal off is so incredibly important. And like we said, we thought it was going one way and it just completely went a different direction. And it's something that you can try and practice, but at the end of the day, finding those last minute heals, it's really just down to the wire, and it can be thrown up in the air. You just never know who's it going to go to. In this case, we got Noun and Daz over here.
That's right. We have to turn our attention to the standings, because remember, we only have one more game to go here, and then we'll be back tomorrow for the last 6, and from there, ultimately determine who's going to win Major number 2 and what the top 3 moving on to Globals will be. But for now, how are the standings? Duke and Edgy, they have maintained this lead. And I gotta say, I'm extremely impressed with the duo, and even Acorn and Cold, right? The last few games, they've held those 2 spots down. But as you said last week, Kelly, Edgy has always been the bridesmaid over the bride. Right. Could we finally break the curse? Is this the major to break the curse?
I mean, with a 30-point lead right now, they're doing a great job. They have the second most amount of eliminations, as well as the most amount of placement points. So not only are they winning every single one of their early engagements, but they're also able to translate that into a successful in-game right here. And something that Duke does an incredibly good job of is staying ahead of the pack and finding the right ground to kind of land on. You'll see he'll adjust by going from mid ground to low ground to high ground, depending on what's the most advantageous for him. And we can see right here, holding down the mid ground, doing a great job, going from 2 to 4 eliminations in the blink of an eye right there, while also still having heals. Unfortunately, he does go down. But again, if you're able to consistently make it into the end game time and time again, a victory royale doesn't matter. I mean, look, they have 0 and they're still in that first place spot.
Dude, I honestly feel like for Duke and Edgy, they're like, man, y'all should have thrown us in top of the show, because we are a team that is showing up and showing out. And I mean, seriously, a lot of the other teams, like, of course, a favorite, Acorn and Cole, we've seen them show out as well. But Duke and Edgy have just this, I don't know, like, they have this power inside of them that they are just zooming through these games and they're making it happen. And I really do believe, you know, people are going to start VOD reviewing, watching, kind of trying to get technical and see what they're doing, because it needs to be replicated.
They're hungry for it, right? That's why they're holding down that number 1 spot. But as we look down, Acorn and Cold, I kind of want to focus in on them for a moment. They are still, like, though there is a lead from Duke and Edgy, it's not much, right? And with a single game, if Duke and Edgy were to say fall early, right? Acorn and Cold will go off. They have done this in the past. And so I'm very worried that, like, Acorn and Cold are kind of like playing with their food, and they're like, yeah, you guys are in first place. And they're just waiting for that moment to strike.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Obviously, Acorn and Cold are an incredible player. Again, shout-outs to Dignitas right now. They have 3 out of the top 4 teams being represented, so clearly they have a good job picking the right teams in to represent them. But Acorn and Cold, I mean, they had first place in weeks 1 and 3. They are the reigning champions, so I don't think there's too much to say besides the obvious that they're some of the best for a reason. But can they take down Duke and Edgy? That's the real question.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's not that far in the standings to, between first and second. And I honestly think, again, like, we have so many games tomorrow, so much to look forward to.
Yeah, 2 duos I do want to point out here before we flip on over to the top 20. First, 8th place, Muzz and Degen moving up 8 places, but also Caster and Clarity G. Clarity G hit some disgusting shots to make this happen. So shout outs to both of these duos now finding themselves in the top 10. But let's take a look at the top 20. Where are these other names that we're not seeing on this top 10? Could they actually be finding themselves in that top 20, looking to try and fight for the top 10? People like Trashy, Pump, Iamzo, and Rise, right? 2 duos we highlighted at the very beginning of the day, but they're not finding themselves in that top 10. Is it maybe that they're looking to fix whatever is in their way today and come in strong tomorrow?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are having issues in the early game right now. Either they're getting eliminated right on drop, and we've seen some top teams like Kanad and Agers getting a rough start to their drop. And a lot of that obviously translates into mid and late game. If you're having a bad early game, then a lot of these players are also having issues with Storm Surge tags, and that can just put a real wrench in your plans to make it into the end game.
But again, like, I think like we talked about, like, you could be a day 2 team. And you really can just show out and show off in day 2, and maybe honestly even make up for some of the you know, maybe, you know, not as great plays that happened in day one.
Yeah, it's never over until it's
Exactly.
over, right? And 6 games doesn't sound like a lot, Jenny, but
It is.
it is.
It is.
And I mean, a lot of these duos, they're here for a reason, right? And they are hoping to find themselves at a good standing so we can prepare for tomorrow's games. But it's that time. The final game here in day number 1. I can't believe I blinked and suddenly we're here, but it's fine. We have one last ride today, so let's see if the players can make it count.
6 games of competition can be extremely taxing. You have to strap down, ready up, and prepare yourself, because if you want to take off on this battle bus and make it to the global championships, you're going to have to perform today and then again tomorrow.
Yeah, and where you end on the day, it really does mean so much. It kind of decides how you're able to play throughout the rest of the tournament, and players really need to realize this is not a race. This is a marathon. So you can't get gassed out just on day number 1. And that's why you got to look at some of these teams that are so well up on the leaderboard that are building themselves that much of a cushion. So just in case things go wrong, they can dust themselves up and pick themselves up.
Dukes, Edgy, Acorn, Cold, Pollo, Sphinx, Booga, Threats, Bryce, and Chubbs are top 5. Of course, the closest in 7th is Kanata and Agers. They only slipped 1 game last round for getting taken out, and that's 2 rounds in a row. This is an absolutely pivotal moment for Kanata that he has to win here. Yes, he gets the refresh, but the fire back here from Sprite, and luck couldn't have been better for Sprite right now as he finds not only a big pot, but something else as well. But it's Bucky, it's Okus, the Disruptors, we call them that, coming in again, messing things up, putting their input on the situation and just completely tossing the dream out the window. Agers and Kanata's day 1 is over. They fall in 7th place loading into game 7, and you have to assume they're going to slip a little more.
They already, if they're watching the feed, they might have already saw Giants go down.
They know.
So that's why they're closing the distance. They know a player is there as a solo, but another team has the same thing in mind. Bucky getting a little bit ahead of himself, gets the shot that matters most to keep himself alive. But I talked about another team has just joined the racetrack, trying to steal away all the loot and take advantage. But do they know it's Bucky and Okus? But it's Bolts and Thoric. They switched up their drop spots a few times throughout the day and said, why not? Why not go to the racetrack? We're seeing a couple other teams there. Let's join this party.
Yeah, I mean, they're seeing what, you know, Sprite and Giants have been doing, the big clash between the two. Little did they know Bucky and company were here, you know, exercising the game plan they're probably thinking of. Hey, let's just get some kinetic blades to slide on in there. No, sir, it's not free by any means. And the loot that they managed to pick up, Thoric is actually pretty looted and booted right now inside that bush here. Combat Shotgun is one of the better weapons to open up at distance, so Thoric can for sure put some damage down to really kick things off. Let's see it.
Sense like a 3-2-1 type beat
Yeah.
coming out. They just need him to step forward just a little bit longer. Okus is going to be the one leading the charge, getting into the hands of Bolts. Both of them hiding. That fire, first shot's going to fire off. There it goes. Damage going to be traded. Okus takes a bunch. Shield's getting dropped as well. Thoric is getting the high ground taken away by Bucky, who's now firing shots onto Bolts. 2 different 1v1s going down, and that's where you see Okus trying to create space for himself. Goes a layer up and immediately connects blades back to the same box as Bucky.
An excellent, excellent play by Thoric here, keeping up the pressure, not allowing Okus to heal for a free or comfortably in front of his teammate Bolts there. Bolts gets tagged, rotating to his duo. And there it is, Bucky and Okus sliding out. Can we just pause for a moment and actually give a huge just hats off and credit to Bucky and Okus in particular. They were in 33rd place at some point. In last game, we were talking about, you know, what are they going to do as these disruptors? They've jumped up to top 15. How did they do it? But they have. They've managed to put themselves in this conversation somehow of a team to, I don't know, maybe have a great day 2 and be a top 10, top 5.
And it just kind of leaves me wondering, where are they even landing to pick up anything? They go for the kinetic blades, but they figure out a way to get some sort of weapon, as Okus actually did get dropped.
That's bad.
Not the best thing is this off-spawn fight we saw so many times. Paper's going to go down, but at least he was able to take down Chubbs before he dropped. Shadow, literally a sliver of HP and a dream, quickly turned into a nightmare as Bryce takes him down. Even gets the reboot back on up. You can see Clarity Caster, so many teams in the distance trying to go for some free search.
Chubbs and Bryce looking to set a record as one of the teams, few teams that is contested in this game. but managing to perform at the best possible, having game after game entering into this lobby inside the top 5. I don't think they've actually fallen outside the top 5. It might just be a record setting already. 5 games and maintaining these top 5 positions. Very impressive, just all in all.
And if you look at their points right now, 30 points away from second place. This is doable in a single game if your opponents do go down. The 4 points per elimination plus the placement points. Much harder to catch up with Duke and Edgy, but again, it is definitely possible if your competitors do go down much earlier than you'd hope to kind of close out the day. Hey, maybe a 4-way tie, something like that. I would like something like that simply for the entertainment's sake, but I know everybody else kind of thinking different, especially Duke and Edgy. They want to keep their massive lead intact.
Let's not forget, if Acorn and Cold finish within that top 3, regardless of what, that will open up a spot for a different duo below. So you really do have a chance right now. Acorn and Cold have already proven that, hey, even the best can fall. That game 1 takedown from them sets them off. So for Aiden and Hound, I mean, the chances are here to go ahead, pop off. It's 2-day competition. Love the play from Aiden right now. Really putting the pressure onto Chubbs. This might be the first time we see Chubbs fall extremely early here. Bryce has to step on up, but look, Aiden's just a little bit sharper. He seems to just be hyper aware right now, really in the zone. This is scary.
And no matter if it's a nook, cranny, or crevice, Aiden's gonna take a shot and try to make it go through. Bryce gets knocked, taken down by Hound. And this is where you have to go ahead and push forward, but Aiden, yet again, along with Hound, they take down both Bryce and Chubbs, and that hot streak you were talking about, Monster, went right out the window to close out the day.
2 teams inside the top 5 have now officially been crossed out. Aegis Kanata, 7th place, gone. Bryce Chubbs, 5th place, you watched it, gone. This is day 1 of North America's FNCS. What's on the line here? Everything, because global champion is, of course, one of the few things that you can be contending for.
Some of those teams, you said in the top 7 down. I'm looking at Muzz, Degen, Quanti, Peterbot. I'm looking at Clarity and Casters. Even Pam's doing Fatch to make up for lost time. This is an opportunity that was just granted with one of our top competitors going down. So it's up to you to take control and try to close that gap. But for some, closing a gap is going to be easier than others. 31 points is going to be the difference between Acorn Cold and Duke and Edgy.
Perfect jump and timing right here. Boyo in Sphinx. We kept speaking about Mega City has so much to offer. Mega City is a great drop spot. Why do we not see Epic Whale and Reed performing from here? Well, you know what? Maybe it's because only one team can be the kings of the Mega City. And right now, today, it's Boyo, it's Sphinx. They're in the top 3. They've been playing very well. I mean, they're escaping seemingly just fine. They're finding just enough tags. And you would think them being on the southern side, the more passive side, it'd be harder to be consistent, but no, they're doing just fine.
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the season, before Buga and Threats actually got together, Buga said, hey, I'm playing with Boyo. This guy is underrated, and I'm ready to take him to the stars. Things might have switched up. Sometimes in Fortnite, things happen with so many superstars in one region, as now it's going to be Boyo, who's probably going to get so many offers. I think Sphinx needs to lock him down if they don't qualify to that global championship, as NPen and Polarized 108 points so far, and you can kind of see they're used to fighting off spawn. Now that they're not necessarily contested over towards Genjutsu Crossing, they're forced to go elsewhere to find their surge in places that they might not be the most comfortable.
Well, this is what the FNCS is all about, right? Really platforming and giving players a chance to continue to make a name for themselves. Now that we have the entire merging of the North American region, I mean, now more than ever, all eyes are on you. Baka, Pars, Boyo, like you said, these are really their time, truly, to have breakout performances. I say this every year. We always have a few in Fortnite that just have their time and they break out and they just take off. Cold was the latest for North America. I would say Vino for EU in recent times, right? We always have these big breakout names. Who's to say it couldn't be Boyo? He's got the name, he's got the style, he's got the gameplay right now. I'm liking it.
Yep, definitely building himself a reputation if he didn't already have one from these combined regions. You see the vault loot intact. Epic will and Reap trying to save as much of the heals as possible, but with the shield keg going down, they know they want to begin to trade shots. Storm Surge hasn't been their friend so far throughout the last couple of games, so they need to figure out a way to manage it before the day is over.
Let's take a look at Muzz and Degen right now, who seems to be under pressure, but there's a duo fighting in front of them. It's Rise and Yamzo. Yeah, that's not an easy battle by any means to pick a fair fight with. So things are going to settle down for now. Yeah, they're recognizing the problems and the dangers that are here. They move first.
Wow. Huge amount of shots. Taking down Muzz and his shields. And I talked about polarizing N-Pen, having to go elsewhere to find their surge because they're no longer contested towards Genjutsu Crossing. Well, Larson gets caught out. User was taken down earlier on in the same game, so the team run on the day has come to an end. So now they can hit the FOD review very, very early.
Yeah, what a better time to catch up right now than with Vivid, who's been keeping a close eye on Blue Gun threats.
And keeping an eye on the top 3 as well. Let's make sure during our last game of the day that all of our top teams are doing well. The biggest change for me is going to be that Dukes and Edgy have not gotten that early elimination, the 2 early eliminations that they are so used to getting. So we'll have to make sure they get some storm.
I'm live.
I literally don't care.
Yeah, we're both live.
Yeah, I just went live. I don't care.
Yeah, you don't care, bro.
Alright. Alright, let's go. Yeah. Fortnite.
Let's get it, man.
Yep. Guys, type 1. Alright. I have 1 person. Alright, I don't even have 1. I'm getting. Yeah. Type 1. Yeah, please. Yo, CTI bro, what's up? Yo, what's up?
That was good, boys. It was good, everyone.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
Come over and play. I'm down.
No, but you can add me on PS5 and we can play.
Oh, I'm down. I mean, I never played it, so you can give me like 30 minutes to practice.
And now, Clarity and Casker just showing us how
Alright, so warm up then.
the type of numbers they can put up. And we know every time we've talked about them.
When is the console cup?
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that's something else. Appreciate that, Callie. Callo. Thank you, bro.
Vets popping up, showing up.
Yeah, and it goes to show that
I need to download
it's not
Fortnite on my
necessarily how you
PS5.
start on the day, it's how you
Tonight going? My night is going amazing. Very, I was energetic for the whole stream, but in the last game, I'm trying my hardest.
So as important as it is to have the
Wait,
mechanics,
is Rise dead to Nick and Nyx?
you need to have the mental toughness to stay
They have
strong
0
when
kills.
things don't go your way, as Nick and Nyx are going to be one of the first teams to try to claim the top of that Rift Island. But the shots are coming
Stream it
in.
another night. Chat, I'm so tired. I just want to lay on the fucking couch. Nurse, how are you? Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Thank you. It's 466 today. Thank you guys so much. 100 FPS late game, I know, but it's a lot of money, and I think we'll be good. Oh wait, no way Reed's doing this. Like, this is just
Dude,
why?
like
why do
I
they
like
do
that
this?
you literally have to try your ass off, bro.
That's a huge amount of damage.
What do you mean?
that Reed just took.
Like if you're gonna play on 100 FPS, you're gonna give it your all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's gonna, like, because if you stream to so many people, it makes you want to give it your all at like all times. And like if it was me playing, I'd probably just like start trolling after first game.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, we actually, like, I just spent $500 thinking in PS5. Like, we need to get top 3. You know what I'm saying?
I bought mine for 2K.
Why? How? Why? What?
2K's ass.
$2,000. Oh, you bought yours
Well, I bought it for
2K.
PS Cups, but I wasn't able
Wow,
to play
that
like
guy's
the
a
last
fucking
one.
drone.
They're going in the direction that they want to, and that's straight on up.
What are they doing, bro?
Epic is shit on this game.
Epic's better just start keying the whole tournament,
Yeah, I
bro.
know he is. I mean, he's 33rd, bro. That's a bad look.
I mean, they just gotta start keying, bro. I feel like.
Yeah, then I mean,
Go for
they
20s.
need a good game this game.
Dude,
I haven't
might
got
just throw
paid
on
from
their
that
stream,
Tifu
bro.
cup. I haven't got paid from that Tifu cup. I messaged
Bro,
him.
I hope Tifu scammed your shit, bro.
No, but Kwani got paid.
Yeah, that's weird, actually.
Weird as fuck.
You want me to hit up Turner?
No, I mean, I already messaged BT. It's like, they owe me
Come on,
fucking
Boom.
$7 grand. What the fuck?
Wow, Boom.
For real.
Because there's 6 more games on the day tomorrow where we'll crown our FNCS Major 2 champion, where we'll find out which 3 teams from North America will get that spot in the global championship. One of them